Oh God, how is this allowed? This is so biased.
And on that note, we cue the music.
Behind the shimmering images and catchy jingles lies a tapestry of half-truths and tall tales. In today's video, we're going to expose the advertising world to reveal the colossal fabrications and cunning tricks that companies use to pull the wool over your eyes. Oh, it's all the time, isn't it? Welcome to the show. Dave has written this. I'm reading it. That's the format. Never read this before. From miracle creams that claim to reverse time to scientifically proven formulas that are anything but, we're exposing the most outrageous lies that advertisers tell you. In the UK, at least, it is against advertising law to tell direct lies. Yeah, I remember studying this. There's something called a puff. It's basically what advertisers do, where it's something that's like so outrageous, like Red Bull. It gives you wings. Is a lie. It's a lie. It doesn't literally give you wings.
So that was a fucking lie.
But it's okay because it's a puff. Like it's so unbelievable no one would reasonably believe it's true. I think that's what a puff is. In fact, the laws are even more stringent than that. In some cases, advertisers are forbidden to tell the truth. Several years ago, an advert for Courage Best Bitter was forced off the television by Ofcom. That's the Office of Communications, I think, like the advertising regulator, because it implied that drinking beer gives you confidence. But it does. You can't lie, but you can't tell that you can't make your product seem awesome. The confidence top-up that alcohol provides is surely its main attraction. Is it? No, I feel like alcohol for me, I love the taste. Like I love wine, I love beer, I love whiskey. It's the taste, and then also like, it's just chill. It makes you like more chill.
All right, everyone, chill.
I know there are some people who claim to drink alcoholic beverages purely because they like the taste, but strangely, very few of those individuals choose to drink non-alcoholic beer or wine. I'll tell you, I'm one of these people. Like, I don't drink very much anymore because I started taking a drug and it doesn't work with alcohol. It was like making my liver funny. And so I drink like a tiny bit. Like I'll have like half a glass of wine sometimes. And then I generally like 1 or 2 nights a week, I'll have like a beer or two. Like the doctor was like, just less. And now, it's that if I'm having a steak or something, it's really nice to have a glass of wine with that. Not because I'm getting anywhere close to it. I'm not even feeling it. It's like half a glass of wine, but just because it tastes nice. I once purchased a crate of alcohol-free beer for the pub. Dave used to run a pub. And when we finally shut down 2 years later, there were still 22 out of the original 24 bottles completely untouched on the shelf. In short, nobody can legitimately deny that alcohol gives you confidence. Whether or not that confidence always translates into good decisions, of course, is debatable. Rarely does. This sort of thing leaves advertising companies in an interesting position. They must employ the most mentally dexterous individuals to invent new phrases and slogans that successfully blur people's perceptions without actually running afoul of the law. So let's have a look at how this works. Statistics are used to mislead a lot. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into this because Danny already did a fantastic video about statistics earlier this year. Still, it's always interesting to take a look at just how naive the average consumer can be when it comes to digging down into the numbers that they're presented with. Imagine, if you will, you become tired of your current brand of shampoo. Dave, what the are you doing this on purpose, aren't you, Dave? Haven't used shampoo in years, Dave. Although somehow I still get dandruff. If I don't, I have to moisturize my head like a bald person. And if I don't, it'll be like, I thought getting rid of my hair would mean no dandruff. Bald people can get dandruff. Just before we continue with today's video, let me tell you about our fantastic long-time sponsor, and that's Squarespace. Look, if you don't have Squarespace yet, what are you doing? Why would you build a website any other way in 2024? Look. All you do is you go in there, you go to Squarespace, and they have all these beautiful templates, and you just choose one. You're like, oh, I like the look of that one. You grab it, you take it in there, and then you use something called Fluid Engine, which is their like drag and drop technology, and you just move things around, and you put things where you want them. You put in some pictures. I've done this. I made my own website on Squarespace. It was super easy. And it just gets easy with time. Squarespace is amazing. They've also got something called Squarespace Extensions, and these connect your website to third-party tools, which means that your website's functionality is essentially limitless. No more like, I wish my website could do that. No. Just go in there, look at those Squarespace extensions, and you will find out that your website can do that. Amazing. Plus, they've also got Squarespace Courses, which allows you to make an online course. It's very easy to do. You've got professional layout, custom videos. You edit it with the Fluid Engine, drag and drop thing, and it's just like, boom. Done. Beautiful. Easy. You can also set the price. Do you want to sell your course? One-off fee, or do a subscription? Who knows? You make the decision. That's it. You just build it with Squarespace and you get to choose. So if you're ready to create your own online presence, head to squarespace.com/Blaze for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use the promo code BLAZE to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. Thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring. They make all of this possible. And now back to today's video. I'm not sure why this would be. I myself have never felt the need to tie myself to a particular brand and usually just buy whatever is on offer at the time. Well, no, David, I have had plenty of very minor and not important disagreements today. But let's use deodorant as an example. I find a deodorant I like and then I stick with it. My wife went to the store and she knew I was out of deodorant. She buys me some. And I'm like, this isn't what I normally get. And she's like, yeah. What did I say I was going to call my children? Yeah, Remus. Remus said that this is what you wanted. And I'm like, but this isn't what I wear and it smells really strong. And she's like, yeah, but Remus would get sad if I didn't buy this for you. And I'm like, okay. So I wear this and she's like, that deodorant is way too strong. I'm going to buy you a different one. The one I always get, it's like Nivea something or other. I don't even know. However, my wife assures me that choosing the correct product is essential to hair washing, and I'm inclined to believe her, if only due to the fact that talking about such things makes me so bored that I'd literally rather play Raid Shadow Legends. Yeah, often I do just do. My wife will be like, and this, with this, and this, and I'm like, yes. Usually something to do with shampoo or whatever. Dave and I, same page. So, having made this life-changing decision, you start scouring the internet in search of the ultimate in hair washing technology, and in doing so, you come across a product that claims to be so good that 98% of people would recommend it. That, you think, is good enough for you. If 98% of people would recommend it, then it must really be outstanding. The problem, of course, is that this claim is at best spurious. Although, if you look very, very carefully through the small print, which is usually hidden away somewhere on the bottom of the website, you may be able to find out how extensive this research was. Advertisers are not obliged to include it, and so they often don't. The fact is that although the implication they want you to take away is that I'm very curious how they're going to twist this around, that 98% of people love the product, in reality it could be, and almost definitely is, a tiny group of people who received a sample free of charge and were asked if they would recommend the product. Back in the day, my mother signed up with a company that specialized in obtaining reviews for different products, and there was quite an incentive to rate the product highly. As long as you responded positively, they'd keep sending you free things to try. Oh god, how is this allowed? This is so biased. If you responded negatively more than twice, you would be struck off the freebies list. Given that the company was marketing baby products, my mother had 2 children under 3 years old at the time, and we were not exactly flush with cash, I imagine that she and many other mothers around the country may have been somewhat generous when it came to providing feedback. When you take that sort of thing into consideration, the implied 98% of all people starts to look very shaky indeed. So sketchy. I feel like I'm pretty skeptical. Isn't there that famous, or not famous, but there's this quote in Mad Men that sticks with me, whereas someone says to Don Draper, advertising doesn't work on me. And Don Draper just replies, no one thinks advertising works on them, but it does. It's kind of yeah, and I think I would never fall for this. And it's no, I would fall for that. And I should just not trust advertising at all. And even if I say that, I still am going to see adverts subconsciously and then purchase stuff. Pictures of food do not always display edible content. Yeah, everyone knows this, right? The burgers that they show in McDonald's in the screen. It's that's just, not computer generated, should be, but it's just made up of plastic or sprayed with glue and all sorts of weird shit, right? Although anybody who has ever ordered any takeaway food is fully aware that what you receive is unlikely to look as delicious as the advertising photographs, it is not just fast food that suffers from this. Many of the techniques used by advertising companies in their photographic campaigns may make food look Instagram ready, but you certainly wouldn't want to eat it. So just exactly what sort of things are advertisers using to mislead you? Ever wondered how to get a long-lasting fancy cloud of steam rising from your dish? Steam. I just assumed that they must put that in afterwards as computer generated. Well, that's really easy. According to one former photographer, all you need to do is take a couple of tampons, preferably unused, soak them in water and then microwave them for a while. Assuming you conceal these correctly, they will steam excellently for quite a long time. What if you're planning a longer shoot and you don't want your syrup to be absorbed into your pancakes before you finish? Well, no worries. Just use motor oil instead. Continuing in the breakfast vein, if you're trying to create the perfect photograph of your cereal to wow your Instagram friends, but takes so long to frame the shot that the cereal goes soggy, just throw it away and make another bowl using glue instead of milk. So, what about dinner? Well, to make meat appear more juicy, simply soak it in vegetable oil for a while, and if you can't be bothered to actually roast your chicken before taking your photographs, dousing it in browning fluid will give you that perfect crispy look with minimal effort. I don't know why that one's the gross one. I find that even more gross somehow. What is browning fluid?
Nasty, dude.
Sadly, not even the humble dessert can escape this evil trickery. The mixture of corn syrup and food colouring can be used to create ice cream that doesn't melt, whilst the delectable whipped cream topping is probably just shaving foam. Grim. If you need something to wash all of that down with, how about adding washing up liquid to your fizzy beverage of choice to create longer lasting bubbles? Once these bastardized versions of your favourite treats have been well and truly photographed, they usually undergo extensive digital remastering to remove any imperfections or unwanted props. Some guy on Photoshop, like, what do you do for a living? I Photoshop out the tampons from rice. I don't know about you, but catching sight of a steaming tampon under the crust of a hot apple pie would probably make me shop somewhere else. Yes, Dave, no question. Product weights are incredibly deceptive. What's the one with meat? It's like pumped full of water and shit. Like, have you ever bought like cheap chicken from a store and then you put it in the pan and it's just, why is there so much water coming off this? It's to bulk up like the weight so they can sell it as more chicken. Kind of bullshit. I first became aware of this next fact about 15 years ago when I used to buy my tobacco in 12.5 gram packages. I assumed, quite naturally, that the package, which also contained cigarette papers and up to about 50 filter tips, supplied the purchaser with more or less exactly 12.5 grams of amber leaf. That's really? I would be very surprised if that's not the amount. Imagine my outrage when I discovered that this was not only an incorrect assumption, but it was off by quite a long way. I feel that they're going to include the weight of the papers and the filters in this, aren't they? You see, in a very small writing on the box, there was a message that went something along the lines of product weight includes packaging. Having, at that time in my life, access to some extremely accurate scales, the reasons which I won't go into. It's drugs. It's weighing drugs. I weighed the tobacco fresh from the packet and discovered that I was being screwed out of nearly 2 grams. That's like 20%. Feeling somewhat incensed by this betrayal, I began conducting some research into whether or not this was a regular occurrence. I think you could probably guess the results of this research. Most packages I found prominently displayed the gross weight, which is the entire weight of the item including the packaging. Although it is a legal requirement, at least in the UK, to display the net weight, the weight of the item inside, this is not, or at least was not, when I carried out my research, displayed as prominently. However, this low-level deception doesn't stop there. Ever ordered a quarter-pounder burger at a restaurant or a burger chain and thought, this doesn't really seem like enough burger? This is the uncooked weight, right? This is quite famous. Like, you'll be like, oh, why is this so small? Oh, it's the uncooked weight. And then when you cook it, lots of water comes off. There may be a good reason for that. As a rule, such food items are weighed before cooking, and if you have any experience with low-quality meat-based products, you will know that a lot of that weight is made up from water and other crap that's usually left at the bottom of the pan after cooking. Yeah, it's a bit gross, isn't it? Sometimes you get like scummy stuff, and you're like, oof, should probably buy more expensive chicken. Again, if you actually properly read the documentation that comes with these products, you'll probably find this information, but advertisers rely on the fact that very few people do. And hey, a fantastic real-world example of this comes around on Facebook from time to time. I'm sure you will all be aware of those tiresome posts that if you do not share this post immediately, Facebook will own the rights to all your pictures and video. I have no idea. Dave's like, I'm sure you're aware. It's like, I just don't use Facebook. And I'm completely unaware of this. The thing is, if you had actually read the terms and conditions that you signed up for when joining the platform, you would already know that they sort of do. Really? If you upload your images to Facebook, like, that's ours now.
Ah! That's so Raven!
According to one attorney, Facebook's terms allow them a non-exclusive, transferable, sub-license, royalty-free, worldwide license to use any IP content that you post on or in connection with Facebook. Holy shit. That is heavy. This means that Facebook can use the photos and videos you post in any way without paying you, and it can also transfer that license to third parties for sharing purposes. If people are that blasé about what they allow to happen to pictures of their kids, they're probably not going to look too hard at how much their burger patty weighs. Telling actual lies. In spite of everything that I've previously said, it is in fact permissible for advertisers to tell outright lies.
Lies. Oh, lies!
Okay, these are puffs though, right? It's not a lie, Dave. It's a puff. Obviously, it's a little bit more complicated than that, so I shall endeavour to explain. The technique that this refers to, called puffery, allows advertisers to use unsubstantiated claims, providing that no reasonable person would actually believe them. God damn, I'm a big brain sometimes. That's exactly what I said. For example, claiming that Red Bull gives you wings. Danny, did we read the same article at some point explaining this? Even a small child watching one of the old Red Bull adverts, which showed somebody chugging a can of the beverage and then flying away, is unlikely to genuinely believe that the drink can provide you with such abilities. I have to say, I never see video adverts. I go to the cinema, and that's the only time that I'll see video adverts, before the movie plays. Because I pay for YouTube Premium, which is where I watch videos, and then I don't have terrestrial, or like digital or whatever, or satellite or whatever you call it. I just have the streaming services, and they don't have adverts. So I didn't even realize that Red Bull were not doing those adverts where they fly off anymore. Sometimes when I go to stay with my parents, they'll have like recorded telly on their Skybox or whatever, and they'll fast forward through the ads, which just seems insane. But I'll be like, oh yeah, adverts. Like soap and shit. You're like, really? People still pay for these? Because everyone's just boarding through them, aren't they? Therefore, as advertising laws go, you're pretty safe. Although, as a friend of mine can attest, if you drink 7 or 8 cans of Red Bull every day for 5 years, you certainly will not remain safe. While this might seem obvious that this sort of thing is okay when advertising your product, the puffery argument has had to be deployed in court to protect major companies from various lawsuits. The most notable example of this is when Pizza Hut took Papa John's to court over their use of the slogan, "Better ingredients, better pizza." Pizza Hut was displeased because Papa John's claimed that their pizza was superior because they used fresh tomatoes rather than tomato paste in their sauce and filtered water rather than tap water to make their dough, but did not have any actual evidence outside of company-run taste tests to back up their claim. While the mighty Hut was initially successful, Papa John's appealed on the grounds that the slogan was simply a matter of opinion, not to be taken as literal fact. They as a company believed they used better ingredients, resulting in better pizza. They argued their boasting was no different than Pizza Hut claiming it had the best pizza under one roof. Ooh, I don't know. I think the jury's going to be like, you said better ingredients. You need to prove those better ingredients. The jury would ultimately side with Papa John's. Okay, never mind. Jury's like, it's cool, Papa. You carry on. And they were allowed to continue using the slogan. This must have come as somewhat of a relief, as according to some numbers I found online, it spent nearly $300 million promoting it. For the record, I too believe that Papa John's makes better pizza. And as soon as they start doing an all-you-can-eat buffet, I'll stop going to Pizza Hut altogether. Do Pizza Hut still do that all-you-can-eat buffet? I used to smash that hard at university. There was a Pizza Hut just down by the river. I used to go down there. Maybe like, yes. I think it was like £11. And you could eat, maybe was it even cheaper? Maybe it was £6. And you could eat all the pizza and all the salad and all the drinks that you could. And, I'd abuse the shit out of that. I think I would eat like 13 or 14 slices of pizza. It was outrageous. The beauty industry. Really, this heading title should be enough, but it's just possible that there might be a few people out there who still believe that companies selling cream to combat the 5 signs of agings really do have your best interests at heart. Please allow me to disabuse you of this notion. According to Jessica Tofino, a self-described former liar for beauty product advertisers, after a year of publishing these pretty little lies, I had to wonder whether something was off about the beauty industry. Brands were releasing new skin-healing serums daily, but chronic skin issues were still on the rise. Consumers were getting laser treatments and lip fillers in record numbers, but appearance anxiety was at an all-time high. Lip fillers are really weird. Like, I see this in people these days. Like, I walk around, and it's not like some subtle plastic surgery thing where you had like a little Botox or a little nip and a tuck. It's like, but your lips look massive and weird. Like, I don't know where this came from, but it's quite strange. It's quite a strange look. I feel like this is one of those things that in photos people are going to look back on in 20 years and be like, why has everyone got weird massive lips? Like, do you remember tiny eyebrows? I feel like I'm being unnecessarily harsh to women, but trends like these beauty trends seem to be more of a woman thing.
Just like a...
No.
Like, do you remember tiny eyebrows were a thing, like back in the day? It's like, what was that about? And now there's bushy eyebrows, which kind of look weird as well. But what's wrong with just normal ass eyebrows? Like, I don't do anything to my eyebrows. I mean, I like pluck the ones, otherwise I'd have a unibrow. But like, they're just regular ass eyebrows. Isn't that fine? The pressure to adhere to the beauty ideal was increasingly associated with depression, facial dysmorphia, body dysmorphia, eating disorders, self-harm, and even suicide. So, just exactly how are these companies lying through their advertising? Obviously, the entire anti-aging genre is too much to cover here, so let's take a quick look at a small section, the serums and creams which claim to halt or reverse the signs of aging.
That was a fucking lie.
As we mentioned previously, a big part of deceptive advertising comes from camera trickery, and the beauty product industry tends to lead the way in pioneering a lot of these techniques. Never has it been easier to take a picture of somebody's tired, wrinkly face, apply a filter, and boom, they're magically transformed to somebody 20 years younger. Imagine if some unscrupulous advertising company were to take those two photos, introduce some sort of middle step that involved using the latest magic cream for a year, and then display them side by side. What could a non-tech savvy consumer infer from that? Well, that the cream did it. Also, surely this is not allowed. Like, surely they have to show actual real results. I assume that it would be just like camera trickery, or like, I think it was a YouTube video I saw where some dude was like, you ever see those like big photos for like people who go from like big to like ripped? And he's like, yeah, in like 2 weeks or whatever. And he's like, it's not fake. It's just like, and this was some dude who was ripped. He's just like, yeah, I'm just going to spend like 2 weeks getting fat. So he eats all this stuff, he gets super bloated and fat, and then he just spends 2 weeks like not eating, and then he's ripped again, because that's how it works. And it wasn't a lie, it's just super deceptive. But like using a filter and stuff, it's like, that's pretty sketchy. In 2021, 2 instances of behavior remarkably similar to this were highlighted by the Advertising Standards Authority in the United Kingdom. 2 well-known skincare brands, the name of which I shan't provide because my research shows that they're remarkably litigious.
Shh! You wanna get sued?
Had paid some influencers to demonstrate their fake tanning products. Unfortunately, according to the ASA, the photos used to demonstrate the remarkable tanning transformation had, in fact, been taken with filters that were designed to darken the skin. ASA is going to ream you for this one. As a result of this, the use of filters to deceive paying customers in advertising was banned in the UK, but it was a good scam while it lasted. Fortunately for the advertising industry, there are plenty more where they came from. Aside from listing lots of fancy-sounding chemicals that don't really do anything besides allowing companies to inflate the price, the other main trick used by advertisers involves the specific choice of words that they use. As a card-carrying linguistic pedant, I should really be impressed by this sort of thing, but it really just fills me with despair for the future of humanity. I'd like to draw your attention to the following sentence, a sentence I took directly from the homepage of a well-known skincare line. Okay, let's see. Our products visibly reverse the 5 signs of aging. Okay. Seems, apparently the 5 signs of aging are fake. I mean, there are definitely 5 signs of aging, but I guess there are more than 5. Like, grey hair, wrinkles on the skin, grumpiness. If you take this sentence completely literally, then it is mostly true. Many skincare products do indeed cause temporary tightening of the skin, which can make wrinkles and fine lines appear reduced. Moisturizing compounds can help to reduce skin dryness, and so on. However, once the effects wear off, everything will still be the same. In no other industry would the words visibly reverse be acceptable. I believe, Simon, that you are still engaged in the monumental task of completely refurbishing a home. I am! Although I live in that home now. So it's like, it's largely done. There's still plenty of stuff, and the builders are still there. But it was 2 years. It was a long ass time. If one of your builders came to you and said, I've discovered a massive crack in the chimney breast, but it's not a problem, I've got this magic filler that will visibly reverse the effects, would you allow that builder to work on the house in which your family will probably maybe one day live? My family live there now, Dave. We did it. I'd probably be like, you know best. If I'm dead honest, I'd just be like, I don't know, you do your thing, and I'll pay you for it. As this episode has been a bit of a downer, I thought I'd leave with this potentially positive musing. Although platforms like Instagram lead the world in photographic deception, perhaps the very fact that these filters and other photo editing techniques are so readily available to everyone, they'll make people pause for a second of contemplation before they instantly believe everything they see in a picture. We can always hope. Yeah, but so much of advertising is like you know. Like, logically, you know, but you're still taken in by it because it's like this subtle thing. And there's so much money spent on this. And the people who do this are really clever. And they spend a long time about thinking of clever legal ways to trick you into buying stuff. Like, so I think we're just going to be continue to be tricked to buy shit that we don't need forever. Thanks for watching. Red Bull gives you wings!